Alyssa Orange with us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, host of the Varsity Vibe podcast. And Alyssa, what's going on? Arkansas hasn't won the last 2 weeks, but you got plenty of teams across the state that are winning games, though.
Yeah, it's been really fun start to the high school football scene and getting into it and diving into it. And I think as conference play starts here this week, it's going to get really exciting. I've talked to a lot of coaches, specifically in the 7A West, with Bentonville and Rogers, Fayetteville, Harbor, Bentonville West, and it feels like that this conference is as strong as it's been in a really long time. And I was joking, it almost kind of feels like a mini SEC of sorts, because these teams, once conference play starts, I feel like are just going to have to beat each other up and see who ends up on top and tries to head to a state title game. But it's been really fun. There's so much talent in this conference, and that starts on Friday. Get to watch all that unfold. And then one of the biggest games I think we're looking at is Shiloh Christian and Greenwood, which is going to be an exciting start to 6A West 2 up here.
That's great. That's great. Give a couple of other teams you might be looking at in the 7A West.
Yeah, so Rogers is a team that I really like, and I've liked them since the start when I went out there for the fall and talked to head coach Chad Harbison, and he just really likes his guys. And I think one of the guys, he says he's not underrated, but I think their quarterback, Jeff Reagan, pretty underrated when you look around the state at teams that have quarterbacks that are highly recruited. He's going to Air Force, but when you look at what Rogers has been able to do, putting up over 40 points, including 84 points in their last game against Sheridan. Their offense is just explosive. They've got Braxton Lindsay, who plays on both sides of the ball. He's going to go play linebacker at BYU, have some really talented running backs as well, including Titus Kramer, who transferred from Harbor. So I really like Rogers. I think Bentonville is steady, right? They're just a steady group that Jody Grant's got up there. I'm interested to see how Fayetteville bounces back after their loss at Texas High, and I really like Bentonville West. I like their quarterback, Trey Thompson. He's one of those kids that, he didn't play quarterback his first couple of years. He kind of had to work on it and earn that spot, and he's played so well. I think that Bentonville West has an opportunity to surprise some people too. So it's going to be really, really fun up here. And then, of course, we're always on Greenwood watch. I feel like when Greenwood, who I don't think they've lost a home game, maybe 24. It's been a long time. But if this senior class can go undefeated, they will be 39-0. They would have never lost a game in high school. And that includes, of course, Kane Archer at quarterback. So everyone's kind of on Greenwood watch to see if anyone can knock them down.
You're pretty thorough with this league right now, Alyssa. You have definitely dove in head first and grabbed it with both arms, maybe even a third arm too. It sounds like.
Well, it's just been really fun, and I think the fun thing is just getting, acclimated with everything that's going on. And then when you realize how talented all these teams are, you can't help but get excited. And then I don't think I'm telling you anything you don't know. It's exciting to cover teams that win. And so that's a little bit of an added bonus.
Yeah, you'd mentioned about Greenwood. There've been a couple of tight wins, right? And I know Kane Archer's had to come up with some very, some huge plays late. And I mean, talk about the anatomy of somebody that knows how to win. That's a program that knows how to win and a quarterback that does too.
Yes, and it's pretty crazy talking to him. And he told me before the season started that, we might not be the most talented team that Greenwood has had. And that's saying a lot because of how much they've been able to just reload and produce every single year. But they found ways to win, like you said. I mean, they could have lost that opening game to Bentonville West because West played so well, and it was a defensive stand at the end of the game that got them that win. And then when they played Harbor 2 weeks ago, it was a 2-point conversion that won the game there. And they had to do a 2-minute drill, and I talked to Kane afterwards, and he's like, "We have a 2-minute like a 2-minute Thursdays, and we run the 2-minute drill every Thursdays." He goes, "But I think I've only had to do it like maybe 2 or 3 times my entire career." Like that's how good this team has been. They don't need to run 2-minute drills because they're usually winning pretty handedly. But for them to execute it the way that they did, and then for him to execute the 2-point conversion, which everyone knew was coming. Everyone knew Kane Archer was going to try to run the football, and he did it flawlessly. It's just that team is exciting. But again, Shiloh coming off a 72-0 win last week too, that they could be the ones to knock Greenwood off if anyone can this year.
isn't it kind of something about like a program like Greenwood, and that it's just baked into the DNA to win games, the close ones, the blowouts, but the close ones are the ones that are the most impressive because somebody always makes a play, And I want to take that and translate it to what we see at Arkansas right now, in which the last 2 weeks, man, I mean, you feel there's enough done on the field offensively to win a game, but it's first half is what you've done enough of. And it's just how many, they're 2-3 plays off from maybe being 4-0, but at the same time, is what's baked into the program's DNA. You see where I'm going? It's like,
exactly. And I don't want to sit here and compare a high school team to an SEC team, but what you're talking about there is that mentality, and that's a Greenwood team that they don't know how to lose. And that's the difference from a mindset, in my opinion, is they just don't know how to lose. They know how to win. And when you look at this Arkansas team, and I feel like we've talked about this so many times over the last handful of years, they're scared to lose, or they're scared to win. They don't know how to win, and they start almost playing to just not win, and then they end up losing the game. I mean, you could go back, you could look at so many examples from last season. That Oklahoma State game was an example where it just felt like they let off the gas and then started just like playing not to lose. You look at these last two games where you had opportunities to win, and it just felt like deja vu all over again with the fumble. That's the difference in a mentality. And you look across college football, and there are teams that just don't know how to lose. They know how to win, and when their backs are against the wall or they're right there in games, they don't let up, and that's a really big difference, I think, with this Arkansas team. And I don't know how you change that mentality until you start winning, because it's really difficult to break.
Yeah, that's the simple way to put it, but Sam even put it like that yesterday, and it is. I mean, it's like if you want to change the understanding of your team and of your program, the only way to do that is to show evidence of reasons to feel differently about it, which is winning games, which is winning the games that you've lost the last 2 weeks. And right now it's just not quite there. What it is, though, is, I mean, if you imagine being a fan of just anybody else in the country, and then you know that the Arkansas game is on, you'll put that game on because it's going to be entertaining. You're going to see a lot of points, and you're going to see some kind of ending that, well, you almost think to yourself, I'm glad I'm not them.
Yeah. Well, I think that was the sentiment on social media after the way that game ended on Saturday against Memphis. I mean, you open up your phone, there are people who had probably never tweeted about Arkansas ever tweeting about Arkansas and what just happened. And the way that game ended, it was just pretty shocking. And if you're, of course, an Arkansas fan, for it to happen 2 weeks in a row is just really difficult. And now I think we talked about this and how important September was. You have to look at the month of September, and they had to come out with a winning record, in my opinion, to have any chance of having a 6-6 season or better, because the rest of the schedule is so difficult. And you're about to potentially, I mean, if something crazy happens, in my opinion, and you beat Notre Dame, then you're 3-2. But coming out of September 2-3 is really difficult to dig yourself out of. And that's just why I think September was so important for this team. And then you're even more frustrated because you could come out of September, even with this loss to Notre Dame, 4-1.
So you come on the show with us every week, and I know you do appearances elsewhere. So, it's going to be part of your conversation throughout the week is Arkansas football. I mean, you're watching the games, and you're interested in it and everything, but you're not covering Arkansas athletics. And if you do it, it's in a way that's much different than before because your beat is now on high school, which sounds like you're really enveloping. When Arkansas loses a game, I think those of us who host shows were like, oh man, this next week is really going to be, not rough, but it just changes everything. But now that you're not covering them on that intense basis, you get to kind of step away from that, and that's kind of got to be nice to be able to step away from these last 2 weeks.
I won't have to lie to you. After 12 years of covering this program, and everything that we've seen, the ups and the downs and the highs and the lows, the amount of times, the 2-10 seasons, you look around and you're like, okay, how do we say they lost again? They lost the football game again. They had it and they gave it away again. And after so many times of saying that the fact that I don't have to stand in front of a camera and try to articulate it again and again has been really nice. Because it can get daunting a little bit. And you're just like, man, you realize how much it kind of affects you sometimes mentally because you've just seen it over and over again. And so it has been a nice break to not have to do it in the depths that I had been doing it for a long time.
Depth
I get to take a break. I get to sigh, maybe tweet about it, and then I get to turn on another football game and continue on with my Saturday.
And move on with your day. That's right. That would be nice.
You don't always win your first bet. That's why MyBookie has you covered. Use our code HOGS, HOGS, and your first bet up to $500 is fully covered. If your pick doesn't hit, you get it right back with our Bet Back bonus. Go to mybookie.ag and use the code HOGS to claim your Bet Back bonus. MyBookie's where bettors win together because bragging's good, but cashing in is better. And your first bet is fully covered. Use our code HOGS.
Must opt in during the bet to use the Bet Back bonus.